writers. I was just exploring this book, When Stars Are Scattered. I'm using it as inspiration for writing my own graphic novel because I think that it's really important to note that the best way to write graphic novels is to explore graphic novels and kind of see how authors publish their stories, especially when you're using pictures to tell you a little bit of the stories. So I'm writing my own graphic novel and I'm starting to draft and take my thumbnails and publish them. And the more I work, the more I realize I need to get a little bit more creative with my storytelling part, right? So we have this visual storytelling medium we're using, but that doesn't mean that we can solely rely on just the pictures. Sometimes you do have to have words to tell the story. And I'm trying to think of how I can tell the story in a meaningful and exciting way using those words and kind of helping it fit in with the pictures. So let me show you what I was just looking at. So I was on this page in the story and I noticed that the author did something a little unique here as we look through this blur of a page. So it's actually interesting. If I even leave it unfocused, this page, this panel right here is what stood out, right? So in this scene, this is when our main character has totally had enough and started to fight his friend. So I noticed that in here, like he's screaming, "Argh!" Right? And we have this like very pointy thing in here. It's not just a regular old speech bubble. It's really emphasized that my character is upset. And then compared to the other bubbles, I also noticed this one's shaded in yellow. It's a little bit different than some of the others. I was kind of using this as a way to kind of help my thinking. And I noticed a lot while I was reading, a lot of things that the author really wants to emphasize are literally written in bold. So certain words that the character might emphasize or be thinking is in bold. Oh, these pages always interest me. Do you notice how some of the captions are broken up into pieces? That's another really good way to kind of move your story along and transition to show how time's moving, to actually move your caption along. Like the first step in playing nighttime hide and seek is waiting until it gets really dark. Like as you're waiting to get from word to word, it's transitioning from daytime to nighttime to like super nighttime, right? So I kind of was just looking through here, honestly, studying the book a little bit. Oh, every time my character is upset, it's this pointy speech bubble. Oh, now that I look at this, I'm kind of catching too. Whenever Omar and even Hassan cries in this story, which is another character, it has this like dripping tear type of bubble too. I also noticed some of my captions are like doubled up. I wonder why the author does that. Maybe it's like one statement, but there's more of a pause between, or maybe it's just to kind of make more room on the page so it's not so much white space. Are these any things that you would like to do or have done so far? Have you experimented with your captions? This one even goes outside of the panels, right? Thinking about how it works with everything on the page. So I was looking at this and I was like, okay. And I actually just got up because I have this other book, Astronauts, Women on the Final Frontier. And I was going to skim this book as well to notice some things that maybe a different author does that I could think of too, trying to find something new. What do you notice? I see that the ones that are captioning the image are shaded in blue, whereas thoughts and actual words are white backgrounds. This stood out to me too on this page, and I just opened it and looked. Really, the bubbles are really stretched. I think that's showing a back and forth conversation. And then the thought bubbles. So I'm just kind of going through and trying to get some inspiration here. Like on here, I see some of these interesting shapes here. I wonder if it's because they're in space. Is this what is being said over a radio system? It might be more beneficial to me if it's a book that I've actually read to help navigate and determine, but it doesn't hurt to look through your book. Writers, use graphic novels you've read or are reading as inspiration for organizing and designing your own graphic novel. Look at this. If I'm doing an informational text, I could even have a whole different caption just for sharing vocabulary. That's what's happening here. So interesting. So writers, I want to give you this tip. There are so many graphic novels out there that are available in the digital world, maybe in the real world with you, possibly even online. I really want to encourage you to review and reflect some of the craft moves your author's making when it comes to designing and organizing their stories. How can you use those same methods to help push your story along and to help keep organized with what's a caption, what's a thought, what is showing emotion within your thought bubbles, experimenting with those fonts a bit. All right, take some time today and explore some graphic novels to help push your ideas and push your book to be unique to how you want it to look.